Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. Over on this channel I tend to look at makeup, beauty, skincare, all that sort of thing, and today I'm looking at the Klarity Kosmetics Lost at Sea palette, and it looks like this. FYI, I am an affiliate with the brand. I do have a code, I do make a commission. However, I am trying to be as objective as possible in these sort of reviews and tutorials, because that's what this video is all about. It is a tutorial of this eye look, but it's also a review of the palette itself. So it's to let you know whether or not it is worth your money. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then do please keep on watching. I was just sitting down to film when I got the email saying that the e.l.f. Jennifer Coolidge collection was available for sale. So obviously I was like, oh, quickly run. But the annoying thing is, it's only for the United States. When you go over to like the Irish version, it was like, no, not for you. Thankfully, I have like an address pal, so that will send it to my American address. So I was able to get it. And I am very, very pleased. Does that relate to this video? No, but I think you should know that I have joy in my heart. But let's get into this. I have this P. Louise brush and I'm going into the shade Thingamabob. And I really wanted to make sure that I looked at this one, because when I swatched it on like my Swatching Sundays videos, I was not very pleased with it. It was very like kind of grainy and not super pigmented. And full disclosure, you can kind of see that that's kind of true here as well. Like, it's a very vibrant orange in the pan, and then when you try and get it onto the eye, it just, there isn't a lot to it, which I think is very disappointing, because generally Klarity do really nice mattes. So I was kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks for this. Mind you, when I go to Klarity, I don't go to them necessarily for their mattes. I go for their like duochromes and their metallics, which is why this is such a like metallic-y look. But you do have to go into this quite a bit to get the level of pigment on it. So I would say if the mattes were like singing to you, just based on this so far, I would just say, you know, don't get your hopes up. It's not quite to the level that you would hope, or at least that I would hope for. So this is about maybe the 5th time that I've added on some more pigment, and you're still seeing it's very pale. There's not a lot of color to this. So if you have a deeper skin tone, I'm just going to say it right now, you may actually end up struggling with this. That's just kind of what I'm deriving from this. So it's a bit of an odd one, in my opinion. I'm now taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm going into this very hot pink shade. It's called Wandering Free. Now, this is a much better pigment. Now, I do have it on a very like floofy brush, so you're not going to get like a bang of pigment. But I was able to get way more with this than I was with Thingamabob. Now, this is kind of more the formula that I would be used to at Klarity, so I think maybe something kind of went a little bit amiss with their orange formula, or orange. So I think that's just a little bit of a pity, but good to see it wasn't like a complete like matte reformulation that, you know, maybe they'd change things and not for the way that I might like them. I mean, not that you obviously have to make things in a way that'll please me, but you know, as a consumer, I want to make sure that what I'm buying is something that I'm like really into. So you can see here, decent amount of pigment here, and I am going on with like a very small blending brush, and yet I'm still getting a really nice kind of level of pigment here. So again, back to the sort of Klarity that I know. Actually, to be fair, the Klarity I know puts like a crazy amount of pigment onto your eyeball straight away, and then you kind of go, ah, what's happening? And you blend and blend and blend and just kind of hope that everything kind of goes well. But this is, yeah, this is kind of the level that I would be used to with them. I'm now taking this dew color brush and I'm going back into that bright pink shade and just adding a little bit more and just blending back and forth, so I can add a little bit extra, because I only really wanted the little blendy brush for just on the inner corner. This is not a structured look. I just wanted this to be fun and silly, and also I'm filming with Tia in a little bit, and there's no point in trying to make yourself look like amazing, because you never will when you're sitting next to her. You know, she'll make you look like, I don't know, something unpleasant. She's so gorgeous and talented. I'm now taking this blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade So Long Lover Boy. And I'm putting it just out here. Now this is again where I'm seeing a little bit more like inconsistency with the mattes. Like yes, they blend and they merge together very, very well. But I'm not getting a lot in terms of pigment. Yes, I am putting it on with the teeny tiny blendy brush, but this isn't really what I've gotten used to when it comes to clarity. Now this may be that it's a lighter shade, although I have the Mermaid palette and that has a lot of pastels in it, and that is still like super pigmented. So I don't know if they've just changed the formula or what the story is, but it's not, I'm not living for the mattes, if I'm honest. Like you can see that you do get your pigment up, but again, I mean, I'm very pale and I kind of figure if a color takes a lot of work to show up on me, it might be more of an issue for other people. Now, all of this being said, it may be that I've just got like, maybe like a bad batch or something like that. Sometimes this kind of happens, but it's not what I'm used to. However, again, you can see they do blend quite nicely, so I am happy about that. I'm taking another blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade You Poor Unfortunate Soul. And I will say that I absolutely love that they're so into the Little Mermaid, because all of the shade names so clearly reflect like the film, so I'm kind of here for that. This again has a little bit more pigment than the other, so I'm kind of wondering if it's more like the light shades that kind of struggle. Bit of a pity, but you know, we can't have it all. Unfortunately, that's what people tell me when I ask for things. We can't have everything, Teresa. Although this does have more pigment, I also just feel this isn't quite to the level of like the mattes that I got from Klarity in the past. So just if you love their mattes from the past, maybe double check, you know, because this may not be as your ballpark as the previous ones. Again, don't make any decisions based upon my review. Go and check out other people, because it can just be, you know, level of ability. It could be like batch codes, all these different things, but keep that in mind. But you do see the blend very, very easy. I'm now taking a Dessa brush just because I want to take on more of that sort of teal colour and really pack it onto the lid. So I'm packing it from the out, working in, and just kind of gently brushing like that. But you can see you get your pigment without any like major issue here, and it does blend, which is quite nice. But I am obviously a little bit frustrated with the lack of consistency. Not that there's a huge amount of like mattes in the palette, but I would still like them all to be of a similar standard. But it doesn't take much to actually get it to build up, at least on me. So I can't whinge too much, to be fair, even though it is absolutely my core activity. Like I'm really, really good at whinging. Definitely burns most of my calories in a day. This is where I'm deviating ever so slightly and I'm bringing in another product. This time I'm looking at the Made by Mitchell color case, and I'm going into this shade here, which is called Too Blue. And I'm taking a colored rain brush because I've kind of worked it onto my hand to warm it up, because that's kind of how you have to use this particular product. And then all I'm doing is just kind of like a little bit of a wing. I know you're like, oh, that's not really there on the other eye. Don't worry, my friends. It is not clear. It is not concise. It is a little bit messy, and that's fine. We don't have to have precision for this one. So just kind of shoving that on there, just to kind of have a little base for another bit to go on, because I want a little bit more like dimension here. And now I'm taking another P. Louise brush and I'm going into this shade here, Make Waves. Now this one does have a decent amount of pigment, and I just kind of want to lay it on top of where I put Too Blue and just gradually sort of blend that out so I get a bit more kind of depth around here. But it's by no means like a precise look. I want to do something a little bit messy, a little bit different, because like my comfort zone is doing something really constructed. Like I even thought, oh, I'll sit down here now and I'll do like a cut crease. And then I was like, no, try and do something a little bit different. So at least I am attempting. I am attempting to do something a little bit different each time. Because I do think it's important to try and like shove yourself out of your comfort zones and learn something. And now I'm taking this Melt Cosmetics brush and I'm going to take a little bit more of that and just gradually kind of bring that in a little bit more so that it's not quite as harsh. And this is where we really start to see the palette perform like crazy. We have our Beauty Bay brush here, and there's this shade Fricassee, which I don't really know what a fricassee is. And this is a metallic shade, and all I'm doing is just bringing it up here, sort of almost where the line between that orange and the pink was. And just kind of shoving it like that. Oh yeah, so complicated. I'm just taking a dew color again and just kind of dispersing that so it's not quite as obvious. But like I said, they're metallics, they're shimmers, they're the things you get the palettes for. Like honestly, and I've said it a million times, they just need to do like an all metallic or an all shimmer palette because that's their jam. I have this little Zoeva fan brush and I'm going into this shade, Rainbows and Mermaids. And honest to God lads, I'd just get this palette again for this shade. It's insane. And I'm hoping that you can see this, but I'm just gonna pop it here and almost like flat lay, which I know isn't really how you're meant to use like a fan brush, but sure, whatever, it's grand. And you can see you're getting like this beautiful like glittery sparkly goodness in here. Like she's so pretty. Absolutely love it. At the moment we've like a really bad storm on at the moment, so if I seem not 100% with it, it's because I'm like, hope the electricity doesn't go. Like I actually feel they should have just done a big pan of this. Like it's insane. Like I could see myself definitely hitting pan on this out of everything else, like 5,000,000%. I'm taking a colour drain brush and I'm going into Gadgets and Gizmos. And I'm just popping that here to kind of mesh this a little bit further. Like I said, this is not structured. It's messy as hell. And I kind of like it. And you can see it meshes in really nicely with the other shade. And we're almost there. I'm going into Getting Cold Fins, literally just taking it on with my finger. I'm very bold. I didn't even use any sort of glitter primer. And this is where you're going to think like, oh my God, this looks utterly insane. But I will blend this out and it just looks so pretty. Like, I mean, you could just put that on the lid and be done with it, really. She's a fabulous shade. I don't know why I've decided to gender it. It's a fabulous shade. I don't know, it's one of those things that you hear in beauty all the time. They're like, she's glowing, she's giving. And I'm like, why is it a she? Is it because the she's do all the things? I don't know, the feminist inside me is very annoyed today. And then finally, I'm just taking this P. Louise brush and just going to disperse this ever so slightly so we have more of like a glittery line going along here. And as you can see, it's a little bit more gentle. Now, I'll probably add a little bit more of that deep matte and kind of work it in. But I mean, that is essentially it. So I'm going to flick off, do that last little bit, and I will come back and tell you what I think of this palette overall. So I'm back. I finished the rest of my makeup, and in the interim I filmed releases and rants with Tia. So I'm getting a little bit tired, but it does let us see how this is worn after about maybe 2-ish hours, something like that. But I will zoom you in now so you can see what this looks like. So this is what it looks like on the eye, but again, I have super harsh lights on right now, so it isn't really going to show you all of the sparkles in the way that it possibly could. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my glasses, but I'm going to turn off the lights so you can see the sparkles. I have also repositioned cameras, etc. so you can see the shift on this that little bit better. So hopefully you can see just how shimmery it actually is. I've put my stand up really tall and I'm just like in the dark with a ring light on. But you can see that the shimmers are quite nice. And obviously this won't do it 100% justice, but it gives you a little bit more context for what we're talking about here. I'm really hoping that was fiddling with the lighting. I've kind of shown you how nice those kind of shimmery sparkles actually are. But let us discuss this palette. As I said before, I am an affiliate, but I am trying to be as objective as possible, because at the end of the day, it's your guys' money. If you are looking at this, trying to come up with an idea of whether or not you're going to get this. So here's the thing. Some of the mattes are quite good. Not quite up to like the usual par that I would expect with Klarity Kosmetics, if I'm 100% honest. And I did go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6 mattes. So like I did give it a good try, and I did, by the way, go into that deep blue. That is insane. It's a like shimmery metallic. I feel like some of these mattes aren't as good as I would expect. You can work with them, it's fine, but not the level that I would expect. Particularly this shade, I was very underwhelmed with, and this was not great either. So on that basis, however, where the palette really does shine are the shimmers. These are absolutely insane. I would actually buy the palette legitimately for those. Like I think that is absolutely spectacular. Like I'm gonna swatch this one in particular, and I know I'm gonna absolutely end up killing it at some point. But look at those. Like this is the one that I put onto my lid. It's called Rainbows and Mermaids. I know I'm gonna end up hitting pan on that. It's absolutely stunning. And this one, it's called Getting Cold Fins. I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now. I would get it for those shades. I think they're absolutely stunning. Now, would I necessarily go out and buy this again? I don't think so. I don't think so. Simply because I did get a little bit frustrated with the mattes. However, really, really love those shimmers. I really want them to maybe go back and reformulate that matte, or just come out with those kind of duochromy metallic shades as like singles, because I think they are fantastic. I'm glad I got it because I like the entire theme of it. I like that they've kind of rebranded, they've got their cute packaging, etc. But when I'm actually looking at it and thinking about what I would score it out of 10, I would give it a 5.5 out of 10. And the reason why is essentially I'm taking 4.5 points off for those mattes. And I'm being quite mean if I'm 100. I know I'm being mean. But I do enjoy the brand, and I know they're capable of so much more. And I don't want somebody to go off and buy this palette and think that this is necessarily indicative of Klarity's mattes, because this hasn't been the experience that I've had with them before. So I'm a bit, whatever. However, what really kind of saves the palette are the metallics and the duochromes. I love those. I think they are absolutely stunning, perfect for the palette theme. And I am glad that I have the palette just based on that alone. Like I kind of probably would buy it again just for those, but that's a very stupid reason to buy things. Yeah, but lads, you know, I do want to be as objective as possible and really help you to make an informed decision, because I mean, times are tough. You don't necessarily have as much disposable income as we once did. It's a whole thing. So I'm not as kind of enthusiastically endorsing this particular palette as much as I would have endorsed her previous palettes. I do think there's elements of it that are absolutely stunning. And if, for instance, the only reason you wanted to buy this palette was for those metallic duochromy shades, then absolutely. Go off and buy it. I think you will have an absolute ball of a time. It'll be fantastic. You can even use my code. All of that is down below. But if you wanted it as a whole palette for everything to work together, I think it's a little bit trickier. You might get a bit frustrated. It's not like a quickly usable palette, if you know what I mean. Oh my gorgeous friends, That's it. That's the end of this particular video. You know the general drill. Do please like, comment and subscribe. I am a very small channel, but I so appreciate speaking with all of you guys. It properly makes my day, and I do attempt to respond to every single comment. It does take me a little while because I do have 2 other jobs, but I so appreciate it. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case just wrap it up, don't be gross. That's it. That's the end of this particular video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.